So I have chosen the vignette number 3, and that is Jane, a 28-year-old Caucasian female. And I believe that it seems she has um, symptoms of major depressive disorder, and because she's had a baby recently, she may be experiencing postpartum depression. Um, she was referred to me by Department of Children and Family Services after her baby was hospitalized and diagnosed with failure to thrive. He was detained there, and there's also been a court hearing since then in which Jane was referred to me because she appeared disheveled, and so DCFS made a referral to the mental health clinic where I work just to offer some support to her. This is our third session of 8, so we've already developed rapport, and she's been given the homework of seeing a doctor about her symptoms of nausea and insomnia and stomach pains, all those things that are in the assessment. This is just a general physician. I've also encouraged her in the last session as part of the homework to talk to the doctor about her symptoms of depression because she's been medicated for that in the past, and that was a solution previously. She may likely find some sort of relief from the symptoms of depression through medication, and as she's found solutions through that combined with counseling previously, she'll continue to see me and then potentially in the future be given a referral for continued counseling with another therapist. We've also, in the last session, talked about self-care. She said that she feels better when she has a routine, that she will get up and take care of herself and make herself feel presentable, and that gives her a little bit more energy and confidence throughout the day, and that can help her focus on her job a little bit better. So I have someone acting the part of Jane. So we will begin our session being the third, and right now she's identified the whole point of being in session with me as a goal of getting her baby back, and that is her ultimate focus right now. But we're going to break that down a little bit to how she can do that. So we're doing about 1 session per week, so then this would be the 3rd week since the referral. So, hi Jane.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, good. So I've been really curious to find out how your homework went last week, what we talked about you were planning on doing.
Well, I went and saw the doctor about my nausea and some of the other stomach problems I've been having, and he was able to help me out with some of those things, and that's eliminated a lot of the physical stress and pain that I've been having. As for the depression, he was able to re-prescribe some of the medications that I've taken in the past. He wants me to take them on a trial basis and not offer them as a permanent solution, but as a stopgap to kind of try and get me through the next couple of weeks and or months. So I think they're working a little better, and I feel a little more able to kind of manage my emotions throughout the day.
That's wonderful. That's great. So last week you said that you were on maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being feeling horrible and 10 feeling really in control and feeling good, that you were at about a 4. So I'd like to ask you again to see where we're at. What would you give your number today?
Well, I think I would be able to give myself a 7 or an 8.
Wow.
But obviously the medication's been helping, but some of the issues with my job now is kind of coming into a little more question because of the past couple of weeks were really rough for me, and I didn't do as well as I have in the past, and so I'd have to say I'm probably at maybe a 6 or a 7, which is not where I would like to be, but it's, new things have come up, and otherwise, without the kind of the stress of my job, I would be in a better situation, I think, at least personally.
So you're at a 6 or a 7.
Yes.
And it's because you feel like going to the doctor really helped.
The doctor did help, yes.
Good. So it sounds like you have some concerns about your job then.
I'm really scared that, my inability to kind of handle the situation initially led to lack of performance at work, and now that stress is kind of refeeding on itself, and it's kind of turned into a little bit of a spiral, and I'm worried about one and worried about the other, and it's not helping either situation, because if I do lose my job, I have a much worse case to present for getting Luke back, and obviously all the other problems that go along with that. And the more I worry about it, the less focused I am at work.
Mm.
So it's kind of been an issue, and I really need to get a handle on it quickly, so I can deal with that.
So you have more concerns about your job this week, being that more time has passed and you're still working towards getting Luke back, but you have other things demanding your attention.
Right, more things have come up, and it's I felt like I had a handle on the one, but now this one has kind of set me back quite a bit.
Mm. Well, I'd like to do the same thing this week as we did last week. That we'll talk about this and see where we can go from here. And then we'll just take a break for a few minutes. I'm going to go talk to a couple of my colleagues for a few minutes and see if they can't give me their opinion as well on some maybe resource referrals or some suggestions. And then I'll come back, and in the meantime you just sit here and relax for a few minutes, and then we'll close up and we can determine what some goals are, and then go from there when a good time would be to meet again. But we'll just take it one step at a time, and it sounds like because of the difficulty you're having focusing at your job, that maybe we can start there, that would be a good thing to start on today then. What was a time when you were able to focus well at your job?
Well, obviously, before all of this happened, everything was in balance, and I've always been good at my job, and I feel like I'm very capable. I just those few weeks after all of this happened was really hard for me to focus, and so it's really, I don't think, a lack of ability to do my job, just being able to not let everything else distract me.
Mm.
So that's that thing, I think, where the concern is mostly.
Mm.
And obviously going to the doctors helped a lot with that, but some of the damage was already done, so really just demonstrating that I can continue to do what I've done in the past, I think, would go a long way towards accepting that I didn't quite meet my sales goal this month, but perform extra well next month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be very beneficial to me.
So you're saying that you could do again what you've done in the past,
Yes.
and you feel that you're able to, that you're capable, but you have so many things on you right now.
Exactly.
It's just bogging you down a little bit.
Even if I could, come up with something I could, talk to my supervisor about, just a polite way of kind of expressing my personal situation to him without, sounding like I want special attention, or just, helping him understand might even go a long way towards helping myself through this. And then
Have you done that before?
no, I haven't.
Never talked to him before?
Not like about personal issues. Um, it's just that's not the nature of the job, I suppose. But I think if maybe he understood, it would be helpful.
If he knows what's going on,
He might,
at least to a certain degree, just that you have
he
personal
might,
things.
he might give me a couple months of leeway to kind of compensate for, my performance and my appearance, obviously, in the past couple of weeks, because I know both have suffered.
Even at your job, your appearance, you feel, has been different than it used to be?
I feel like I've just not been as, professional as I have in the past. Clothes don't get ironed, or, I'm running late, so I don't have time to completely put myself together in the morning. So it's a lot of different things, and not necessarily the same thing every day, but it seems like there's always something. So, and that's kind of part of just kind of getting everything put back in its place, go a long way towards helping with that.
Well, you said in the last session that you really feel better when you have a routine. And we talked a little bit about that, but we didn't really go into what that looked like for you. If you had a routine and were able to maybe plan out your day before you get to it, what might that look like?
Well, in the past, and what's always worked for me is get up and shower, have coffee, wake up for the day, and really just have a few moments before going to work to just kind of, wake up and gather myself and
Gather your thoughts.
Gather my thoughts. And normally some of that would be, taking care of Luke, but really just having a moment for myself before going into work. And I feel like missing out on that and feeling rushed and actually getting ready has just kind of left me kind of spaced out and unable to really catch up for the rest of the day.
So if you have those few minutes in the morning, the rest of your day looks a little brighter.
Yeah, I feel like I could plan out my day in my mind and kind of figure out what I want to accomplish that day, and that's really, I think, a sticking point for me to get back on track. Really, it's as simple as just having my morning go right, and I can work with the rest of it.
I'm going to have the beginning of your day in control so that you can move forward.
If I can start off on the right foot, the rest of it will be kind of following suit.
So if you start off on the right foot, then how would you go about planning that? How would you plan to do that?
I guess I just need to get back into what I was doing. I fell off that routine, and I'm normally up by 6, so making sure I'm up at the same time, and making sure I'm not spending too long in the shower or letting my mind wander to everything that's going on, because that's kind of had me late a couple of days, is getting distracted and not realizing that I was running 10-15 minutes late, and that stress just piles onto everything else, and it quickly snowballs into a much, much worse situation than it ever should be, really.
Mm.
You know,
So the snowball effect just kind of takes over before you even realize.
very easily, just because of the nature of the situation. You know, normally running 15 minutes late wouldn't be a big deal for anybody, but
Mm.
on top of the stress of not being on a good rapport with my boss for the past couple of weeks, on top of Luke being gone, it's very a fragile situation for me, and it's easy to shatter that semblance of control and routine and keeping it all together.
So keeping it together would be kind of what you're talking about, the getting up at 6, having your shower and your coffee, and that would give you time to get into work.
Yes, just making sure I don't let anything get in the way of just having that time, and maybe set aside some extra time so that, you know, if something does happen, I'm still not late. That might be a good thing as well.
So is getting up at 6 good, or would it be better to get up earlier to give yourself that extra time?
I may start getting up a little earlier just to give myself that extra time.
Mm.
But again, it really just comes down to letting my mind wander. And, you know, as long as I think between getting up a little earlier and the medication, my mind won't wander as much in the first place, but I'll still have a buffer zone of time to myself and time to make it to work, and that'll all kind of equate to a more positive experience throughout the day, and eliminate any unneeded or unnecessary stressors.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we have something for me to go reflect on for a little bit. If you could just wait here for a few minutes, I'm going to go chat about this with a colleague of mine, and I'll come back and we can talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, at this point, it's been about 10 minutes or so. I'm back to talk with Jane, and I've come up with a couple things. Okay, so did you get to relax for a few minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, so I talked this over with one of my colleagues here at the mental health clinic, and we were thinking about what you had said about wanting to plan out your day, and that the routine helps you. And being as that is, it sounds like things have really been thrown off routine lately.
Yes, they have.
It's a challenge for you to make one, let alone stay on it, because you kind of have this domino snowball effect, like you said, of you get off your routine because you have a lot on your mind. And I mean, why wouldn't you? You have so much on you right now. And as you've said in past, our last session, that the things other people would notice about you if everything was good, if everything was at a 10 and a miracle had happened, and you would be timely and, you know, all these perfect things that many people can't be all the time. that these are really good goals. They happen one step at a time, though. So just allow yourself the knowledge that you are taking steps and you are gonna do that. I believe, because I see it from what you've said, that you've been able to do it before. I believe you can do this again. You have the strength because you're here and because you're open to talking about it and being honest with yourself about what works. And if a routine works, I believe you can find that again. And a way to do that is maybe to write down your goals of what you want to accomplish the night before you get to the next day. That the night before, that you will determine what time you want to be up. You know, or at least have an idea of what's ahead of you that next day, that you'll just write it out for yourself. It's on paper. Maybe even cross things off as you go. That you accomplished this, you can cross it off your list. You got up, cross it off. You had your coffee, cross it off. And the simple act of checking those things off sometimes helps to mentally unload what you feel like you have to do that day. Does that sound like something that would work?
Yes, I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, okay. And so that will be part 1 of your homework.
Okay.
Okay. And then part 2 is about just giving yourself that time that you said you feel like is really important, that your mind wanders, and allowing yourself to have your mind wander to whatever is on your mind. That's normal. That's what everybody does. But you have to sometimes be soft on yourself and just say, I need to just think for a little bit. And I know that you have mentioned you go to church. Do you pray?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that there are some people who, if they just sit and pray for a while, once in the morning when they wake up, and once in the evening right before they go to bed, that starting that routine will even help unload some of that stress that you're feeling. Another option is to journal. Have you ever tried that before? You haven't? Well, sometimes journaling helps you to get that out, to get an outlet of, okay, I have this written down, all these thoughts, and they've kind of escaped. That snowball in your head, even, you've put it down on paper, and it's out. And so oftentimes people feel less of a need to mull things over and over and over again when they feel like they've expressed it. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Does that sound like an option?
I might try that, yes.
Yeah, okay. So these are a couple things for you to try, and we'll talk about them next week. I'll be thinking about it and wondering how it's going for you, and
Okie dokie.
you can let me know if it's successful, and maybe other ideas that we can come up with if we need something different. Because there's always different options, and everybody's different. So what works for you may not work for someone else, and that's fine. So, do you have any questions for me?
Nope.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're good for this week. I suppose we could meet again. When would be good for you?
Same time next week.
In a week. Okay. And I will see you then. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.